Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Welcome this week. Glad you're here. Jerry is off either train watching or something like that.
I believe that's what he said. He was chasing trains.
Yeah, he's doing a train thing is what he said. I just didn't know what it was going to entail. But and Bill, I'm not sure where Bill's at. I thought he was going to be here today, but he hadn't shown up yet. So, but JD's here, and we're gonna grill him about something. I'm not sure what it'll be yet. So I know one thing I'm going to ask him when we get ready to start running the grill session. Steve, you want to tell us who's in chat?
I will until I start coughing again. Sorry, guys. I've got this thing worked out into my desk, so I will do my best. Yeah, Rob T. Good morning. We got Allison. Good morning. School for River Valley. John, Lynn McCurdy, Stephen Wigwag, John Tanzilla. We'll see you next week. Mark Pruitt. Good morning. Al Marr, Gerald Stewart, Jack. Good morning. My buddy Bernard. How's the weather over in the hot desert? Dwight Curley. And let's see, I think, did I miss anybody? I think that's it. Oh, we got Tammy, mom and son.
Wilmer.
Who? Where? Nope, I didn't see that. Anyway,
Elmar and Wilmer.
Yeah. If I missed you, I'm sorry.
Oh, there's Roy.
Oh, God.
Roy's always backing in late.
Hey, Roy.
So anyway, what I want to know, John just told us he'd moved from California to Texas, which I didn't know he'd done. And I want to ask you how fun was it moving the railroad?
Well, I did that in stages. I took down and packed up all the rolling stock and everything, the locomotives, and I did 3 trips. I started moving out in June. My daughter and son-in-law had bought the house out here in May. So I made my first trip out in June, and then July 4th, I brought some more stuff out. But the last things I brought out were the tables that I had everything on. That was in the last trailer. That was challenging because I not only had to get mine out of the garage, I had to bring Kimberly's along too. So I've got hers stored right now until we figure out what we're going to do with hers. But I think we might even bring it out into the front yard and do a Christmas display or something with it. So.
Oh, there you go.
But yeah, it was challenging, to say the least. Yeah, and a slow ride.
Yeah. Well, I made that trip.
What was the footprint of the layout, and is it the same? Do you have the same space available to you in the new place?
It's larger.
That's always good.
It's larger. It's the one I had in the garage was 14 by 8, and in the building it's a 16 by 12 building, but interior is 15 and a half by 11 and a half. So I gained 1.5 foot in length and 3.5 feet in width. So that has allowed me to put a peninsula in, so I can work on that.
Well, Bernard says so. In Texas folklore, JD, is your railroad going to be bigger?
Well, yeah.
It's true.
It is true.
True. Everything.
The reason for that is because I got more space there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Texas is a big state. Well, I was going to say I made that trip when I was in young grade school, with my mother and my sister and my grandfather in a Fiat station wagon.
Oh my!
Yeah, 4 of us in the station wagon. Yeah, that was not fun as a young kid, but yeah, I've been that trip 3 times from Dallas Fort Worth area to Southern California. Yeah, it's I did it by train one time. That was the best time. Going
Yeah,
by train.
I'm looking to go visit my daughter in Oregon, so I'm gonna get on the Texas Eagle. I haven't been on that one yet, and take that out to California, and then catch the Coast Starlight up to Vancouver, and we'll hang out up there for a little bit, train watch the bridge, the swing bridge up there. There's a lot of cool spots right there. The BNSF yard is right there too.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Steve will have to run up there and see you while you're there.
Yeah.
Of course, he's on the south end of the state, but
Right.
Yeah, I'm southwest corner. Okay.
Oh, okay. Wilmer's got a question. Do you still have the Roadrunner?
Yes. Yes, I do. It's outside. I don't even know if I can. Probably can't turn the camera around, but I can take it. Show you outside.
There you go.
Oh yeah.
Picture big here.
Yeah. Got an extra. This table right here is the last 8x2 foot table, and what I plan on doing with that is setting it up so I can take pictures with it outside. You know, do some pretty cool stuff that way. It's breezy out here.
Yeah.
What year is that Roadrunner?
This 76. It's a Bellari.
Yeah.
Roadrunner.
Okay. Now, I had a 77 Dodge Aspen.
Ah, yes.
I was going to say that front end looked very familiar.
Yeah,
that car
when I
was
was in the service, I had a Super Coupe, an Aspen Super Coupe. It had the 360 police motor in it, and
oh,
yeah,
wow.
15x8s all the way around. This one's got a 4-speed, 360 4-speed.
Mine just had the 318 stock engine with the 4-speed overdrive.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine having more horsepower than that car had.
Yeah, that's what that one had when I first got it. It had the 318 2-barrel with the overdrive 4-speed.
Yeah.
And then once I got out to California, somebody needed an engine. I made a deal. They took the 318. I got a 360. And then some guys that were racing quarter mile up at Saugus Speedway had a 68 Roadrunner and sold me the transmission out of it. So that's what's in the car now. So with the highway gears in the back, I can go 55 miles an hour in first gear. Come out of third gear, well over 100. So,
wow. Well, Allison wants to know where your trains are. Jack says, "Get the wood off the Roadrunner."
Yeah,
we're going to be moving that probably later today or tomorrow.
Let's see here.
Where are the trains? Well, let's see if I can get
Well, and Roy says the only thing good about a Roadrunner is stacking stuff on it.
Yeah.
Roy, you're mean.
Does that have bucket?
Yeah, Roy's a Pontiac lover.
Does
He
Roadrunner
had a judge when he was younger, so that's why he likes that, or he raced them.
Does that Roadrunner have the high back bucket seats?
Yes.
I was offered back in about 82. I was offered $400 a piece for them.
Wow.
The guy didn't want the car. He wanted the 2 bucket
Just wanted the seats.
Yeah.
Now they're starting to come up in value now.
Yeah. Well, I ended up trading mine in on a car because we had the kids, and
yeah,
it was a two-door, and that's not easy to get kids in and out of a 2-door coupe.
No, I had that problem. Had the fighting over the front seat. Who gets to ride in the front seat?
Yeah. Oh. Okay. So what do we got here? And you guys want to ask JD some questions? Bernard says you're going to be dropping a 440 or 426 in next.
Well, Bernard, the plan was to drop a 440 into it. So, but the frames needs a little bit of work. So we'll see what transpires in the future on that one.
Well, Lynn McCurdy says that the further east you go, the more they're worth.
Yeah.
No,
Well,
Yeah, you get out and get away from the ocean and the rust. That's for sure.
yeah. Well, this one was in the garage for the last 10 or 15 years, so it spent most of its life out in West Virginia, so it's been through the rust.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
It's got probably about 240,000 miles on it. I drove it every day for years.
so getting back to train subject.
Yes.
How did you get started in the hobby?
I got started Christmas when I was 7. Got I believe it was I think it was a Tyco kit. Had an F unit on it. It ran for a while, and then it quit working. So I guess it was still under warranty, Santa Claus warranty, and they took it back to the store, and they didn't have any more train sets. So I got the option of either waiting on one or getting a slot car set. So I went, I'll go for the slot cars. And I still have that set now. I need to get rubber tires for it. Other than that, it still works. But got out. I mean, I was in the Cub Scouts and had Boys Life, and they always promoted the hobby, you know, and I was always trying to get in there. Got away from it, school, and then let's see. He's 17 now. So 11 years ago, when my oldest grandson was 6, Christmas time, got back into it. And I think about 2 months after we got Christmas, I had enough of it going on the floor. We built a table, and it just kind of expanded from there. I always like to say that when we moved it out to the garage from the dining room, that William spilled water on it and it grew.
Yeah, like a gremlin, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, like the gremlins. I thought somebody had a question here. Hey, Marcel's here. Good to see you, Marcel.
Yeah,
Hey,
Marcel. One of the original group that started this whole mess.
Yeah.
I had. John, have you come up with a new track plan? Completely different, or are you going with what you got in house?
It's different. Completely different. I'm going to have I'm actually going to get a yard on it. It's going to be on the other side. I don't know where my camera is here. So. But anyways, if we can see, this is at the end of the peninsula. And on this side is the brewery. And over here on this side is where the scrapyard and the power plant's going. And if I spin it over, see if I can sit it on top of the locomotives here. And over here on that
Thank you,
side,
big Claude.
see it, there's the yard's going to go over on this other side. Yeah, right down through there, up to the doorway.
Okay.
So this is this going to have
on this side? I'm going to get a distribution center in here somehow. I've got it on paper, but you know how that works.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But then I'm going to have a lumber area here. And then as I come by the laptop, I'm going to have a train station in town kind of area in this area. And I'm going to try and use this backdrop right here to put like buildings. And then down on the end, let's see how this is working. Coal mine's going to go down here. You can see. And I got a drone I'm going to try and play with later today. And then over here is going to be like a lumber mill. And this is down at the end where the doors are. So this is a cool thing about this building is I can open up both doors and look outside and have this view.
Oh, nice. Big lot there.
Wow.
Yeah, it's about 2 acres here. And this is my lift. I've got it attached up here with a.
That's what I was going to ask you, if you were point to point or if you had a continuous running.
Yeah, I'm going to have a continuous run. And then we're going to try and do a Williams camping area right here again. And then I've got a grist mill. I'm going to build the kit and have some like running water on it. But then this is the table where the yard is going to go down. But it's going to be, I'm going to have a lot of different, not too many industries, but enough so I can switch, but still be able to, run trains because we have passenger trains. So William likes those a lot.
Well, Roy says got room for him to come and park his semi.
Yeah. Yeah, he can pull in through the gate.
Yeah,
but I don't know if you want to come down this road with that truck because I haven't seen any semis come down the road.
Give him time.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, you give him a hint that he can come down there, and he will.
Yeah.
Well, Lynn is you're not gonna do like Heath and tape your paper drawings to the tabletops, are you?
No. No, I got a I have this piece of paper and the squiggly in the center right here, that's the floor. But all this other squiggly stuff is my tracks. So far, the only thing that's working is this is what I've got done is the peninsula. And then we got.
So did you say you have 2 lift bridges or one? Are there 2
doors?
Just
one. I've got a double doors, but just one lift bridge.
Okay.
There's a question here I was going to find. Bernard says, it looks like you're making your own turnouts too.
No, those are Bruce Giroux. He built those for me.
Okay. I've heard that name. I don't know him, but I've heard that name.
Yeah, he's built I believe all the turnouts for Jack.
Oh, okay.
And
Jack wants to know what the hell's on that paper.
Yeah.
You don't want to know.
Oh, really? Oh, and then Lynn says you draw like he does.
I'll take that.
He draws better than I do.
Yeah, that's why I didn't try to draw mine by hand. It wouldn't have worked.
This looks like the same kind of drawing I did about, 40 years ago.
Oh.
Now, John, what'd you do? I'm assuming you're retired.
Yes.
What was your previous line of work? What'd you do?
I worked in the parts department of I worked at a Chevy dealer the last 18 years. I've worked at Chrysler. Started off at Chrysler. Worked at Napa for a little bit. Started off at Chief Auto Parts, actually, out in California. I worked there for probably about 9 months, and then jumped over to the dealership side of things. My dad was in parts, so I learned a lot from him. I go and look up my own stuff while he was working and things. So came from him, and I had an uncle that was actually the parts manager at the dealer back home that I ended up being a manager at for, I don't know, 6 or 8 years, I think. So it's kind of a family thing.
Okay. Now, where did the Grandpa Rails come from? Because he used to go by John Dilly, but
Grandpa Rails came from Bob Lacey, Long Shadow Models Trees. I met up with him in Tehachapi, and he took me out rail fanning to a bunch of spots, and we were talking, and he said on one of my videos, he thought he heard me say Grandpa Rails, and I thought, that's a good name, I figured I'll just take it and run with it.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, there you go.
So that leads to a question that I was going to ask kind of at the beginning, and I forgot. Is your name John, or is it JD?
My name is John. I am, as Sparky said that I was John #1 years ago. And then as everybody was separating all the John names, then I became JD, and then I switched my channel name to Grandpa Rails.
And Lynn says he knew there was something about you he liked besides the stash. Yeah, that's true. That's an impressive mustache. It reminds me of what's his name? Always plays in cowboy movies.
Sam Elliott.
Sam Elliott. Yeah, that's the Sam Elliott stash.
Thank you.
Yeah, very impressive.
I've only shaved it off a couple times. I did it once when the kids were really small, and it freaked them out.
Oh yeah, I can imagine. Because I remember my dad had gone on a 2 or 3 week trip with a good friend of his back when I was young. They went down Baja Peninsula, and they came back, and Dad hadn't shaved in 2 weeks, and I'd never seen him with a beard. And he came back with a beard, and I was like, "Who is this?"
Yeah.
And then I tried to get him to
both
keep
my
it.
daughters are a little freaked out by mine because I've been in the military, and the other job that I had, no facial hair at all. So for 29 years, give or take, no facial hair. And in the last 2 years, I've finally been able to have some facial hair.
Yeah.
You look more distinguished.
Yeah.
Who's this guy, Steve Anderson, in chat? Man, he says, "Good morning, all. Better be a good show. We woke up for this." Well, then go back to sleep.
Steve's just now waking up, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, he's a little slow sometimes. Joe Rader just popped in. Good morning, Joe.
Hey, Joe.
Oh, let's see. What somebody else asked something. I was listening and not reading. Sometimes it's hard to keep up with the chat, but
yeah.
Anyway, yeah. Anybody else got any questions you want to ask JD that you don't know, or John?
Do you have a specific prototype in mind, or is it just, what are your thoughts concerning that?
Not well. I might do proto Lance. I want it to run like a prototypical railroad, but I'm going to have my own things going. I'm going to run cabooses. I've got modern locomotives, but I like cabooses. I've got not as big a collection as Papa John. He's got like 200 cabooses. I think he's got brass and stuff mixed. I don't have any brass, but I'm on the side of about 50 of them, close to 50.
Wow.
So I'm gonna run cabooses, and then I've got steam. I'm gonna run also, like excursion trains, because I got my shays. I got to run my shays.
Well, let's see. Jack was asking if it's going to be double track all the way around.
Yeah, I didn't. I regretted. That's one thing I regretted on the last one is I didn't double track it, so I could do a little bit more movement. Have trains passing and whatnot. So yeah, it'll be worked in.
And Bernard wants to know what's your favorite era. And Lynn McCurdy says, do you ever have any regrets with model train related to model trains?
Well, regrets on my. I maybe should have put more money towards the Roadrunner, so it's in a lot better condition than it is now. Other than that, let's see. What was the other question?
That's a good question. I forgot.
What's your favorite era?
Yeah.
My favorite era. I like the. I'd have to say 70s would be my favorite because that's back home. We did have Chessie going through town until 78, and they closed the line down then. So I'm kind of partial to the CSX and Chessie.
Okay.
You going to the ball game?
No. Okay, huh?
I'll be there in a little while. All right. You have a good one. Here, let me lift that up for you.
Oh, let's see. What else we got here?
See, I had a question, but I forgot it.
Isn't it a bitch getting old?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the cabooses. So
yes.
Will all of your cabooses be on the railroad, or are you going to have like display case? What's your plan for that many cabooses?
I'll have a caboose track probably with, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 on it, but I'll rotate them through, or if somebody does a caboose challenge or whatever, I'll run them for that. It's just, I don't know why I just started collecting them,
I'm also very partial to the caboose for some reason.
Tell you, John, I've got an idea for you. You've got the room on your layout. Make a caboose motel. We've got one actually in Northern California in Dunsmuir. They've got about 20 or 30 cabooses that have all been converted into cabins.
Yeah, I could do that. I got a spot I could probably put some of those. Yeah.
Yeah, make a little caboose motel area, and you can just pull them off and rotate them around.
Yeah.
Well, they were going to do that at Train Mountain too, weren't they?
They were, but then the federal government came in and said they had placed all the cabooses all over. Actually, it's called Caboose Ridge, and their plan was to put tracks out to one of the cabooses with your trains, and you could stay overnight. But the federal government got involved and said no, they have to all be wheelchair accessible.
Well, I wonder how they get around that out in West Virginia, because the Durbin Greenbrier Valley Railroad, which runs Cass and the Durbin Railroad, and also the railroad out of Elkins, West Virginia, they've got cabooses scattered out along their line, but I don't see where any of them are wheelchair accessible.
Well, actually, it could be a state thing. It's not.
It might be then, yeah.
Yeah, it's probably a commie Oregon thing.
Yeah.
Unfortunate.
Well, Steve Anderson says you could do a caboose repair facility.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Rob T-Man wants to know, did you live in West Virginia? Because he's a B&O fan.
I lived in West Virginia. I moved there when I was 12, moved there in 71. Graduated high school in 77, went in the Air Force. was still in the area because they stationed me at Langley, which was like 5.5, 6 hours from home, which was nice. So I could go home every other weekend if I wanted. Then I got out of there and traveled. I kind of bounced back and forth between California and West Virginia for a long time. And then I settled in California for 18 years. And now I'm going to say this is my forever home. So no more moving.
No more moving. Well, it'll be a little warmer there where you're at now.
Yeah.
Most of the year anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember that moving from the high desert.
Cooling down a little bit. So
yeah. I remember moving from the high desert to the heat and humidity of Fort Worth, and it was like it about killed me as a kid trying to play sports because I wasn't used to that kind of weather.
Right.
Let's see what else we got here. I know I missed some stuff.
I'm not seeing any questions. I'm looking. They're just kind of talking with each other.
Oh, Dave Todd had to leave. Sorry to see you go, Dave. I think he said it was 35 degrees in Basin this morning.
I think it was about 34 here.
It was 54 here.
Yeah, it was chilly here too.
Yeah,
Gerald
sweatshirt
Stewart
on.
Gerald Stewart wants to know, what region of Texas are you in?
I am what they call North Texas. I am learning that. This is North Texas where I'm at, just south of Fort Worth, about a half hour. Rob Keeman, if you are familiar with West Virginia, I lived in Marlinton. Another big factor there would be Green Bank, the observatory, or Snowshoe, the ski resort. Those are my areas. And, of course, Cass.
Okay.
So I had a classmate that went to work as West Virginia when I was in high school. They had a summer work program, and he went to work on the railroad in 75, our sophomore year, and he stayed with them until just a few years ago. I think he retired at 45 years working on the railroad with Cass. So he got himself a nice state pension on that.
Well, that's cool. Jack wants to know, how big is your yard and staging?
Yard, well, I haven't got tracks. It'll probably be 6 tracks. So I got incoming and outgoing, but I haven't got it laid out yet. I'm trying to get it configured where I'm coming off my lift out door so it goes into the yard properly. So that'll be a slow go. All this is going to go slow and test as I go. I'm not going to be in a big hurry to run trains all around, you know. I mean, I'd like to, but I want to make sure that it's going to work properly.
Yeah. Sound like Dennis.
Well, yeah. I mean, you know, I've actually learned a lot from Dennis by the way he's doing his layout.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, Dennis, I did build a 3-way and cussed the last couple of guardrails I had to put in. Those you know which ones I'm talking about.
Well, to me, it's the relationship of the subfrog and that little sliver
of guardrail.
The point, not the guardrail. I never have a problem with the guardrail. It's the point.
Oh, the point? My problem is
the point that interfaces with the subfrog. The one that's, I don't know how to explain it, but the straight through point.
Yeah. And that's that little bitty sliver, you know, and let's say on the standard gauge, it'd be a lot easier to build.
Yeah.
But the narrow gauge is just like, oh, crazy. Anyway, I did get it built and I think it's working, but until I hook it up to track and get it running and actually run the loco through it, I won't know. So
right.
I haven't tested my most recent one either, because I built one just so, because I knew I was going to give up the jig to you. So I built another one because I don't like the way one of the ones I have is working. but I haven't tested this one to know if it's any better or not.
Yeah.
It might not be.
Yeah, I had completely forgotten how hard it was to build one of those. They're a real pain because you just don't have the room on them like you need. Anyway, what do we got here?
Well, Lynn says we've all learned a lot from you.
I don't know how. All I'm doing is messing around trying to figure stuff out myself.
No, you're
Yeah.
taking your time and doing it right way. I mean, you're being meticulous, but it's going to run properly. And that's the whole idea of when you're putting your railroad together. So when you turn the camera on, it doesn't, do its own thing and not work or whatever, I mean, you want to be able to show it off. And so that's why, you can't fault Dennis for going slow and being meticulous because he wants it to work. And I definitely want mine to do the same thing. So I'm going to take my time and,
I wish
if I have to rework areas, then I have to rework it. And, until I get that section done, that's how I'm going to do it.
Yeah, I wish I was as meticulous as Dennis.
Well, all I can say for sure is there's nothing, in my opinion, more frustrating than trying to operate your trains and doesn't work. That just, because I did that, Now, all of that was within scale, and I kind of made the decision because I knew that most of it was probably my fault and not the fact that it was in scale. But when I made the decision to go to HL, I was like, I am not going to have, or I'm going to have as few track problems as possible.
Right.
Everybody learned about shorts and nails from you.
Well, it's if you've got model railroad, it's Murphy's Law that it's not going to work when you want it to at some point.
Oh yeah,
that's just the nature of it.
Yeah.
Which that reminds me, last week I had another short in Silver Gulch, and I actually had it and found it when I was filming my tribute to Art. I had filmed everything that went on in Frying Pan, and I was actively filming the train coming around the loop, coming into Silver Gulch, and it got to that first turnout and went and just stopped. I was like, what the? And then I discovered that, my circuit breaker was tripped because I don't have a speaker on it yet to hear it trip. When it shorts out, it just throws the red light. I never noticed. I spent the whole rest of the day pulling track nails because I thought that's what it is. That's what happened last time. And couldn't find anything. That was happened the weekend before last show. So this actually 2 weeks ago. During the show, I found a piece of solder that had laid across the top of my track here coming into staging. And it just had slipped my mind that all of my track running up to Silver Gulch is in the same block. So anything that shorts out here shorts out Silver Gulch. I just forgot about that. I never looked over here. So all I did was move a little piece of solder, and all of a sudden all my problems disappeared. I felt really stupid.
Yeah, that's always fun. You're looking at something and you say, well, it was running yesterday. Why is it not running? I haven't done anything.
Exactly.
Why is it not working now? And trying to figure it out is just maddening.
And really the way I found it is because I've got two different buses coming out of that circuit breaker. One goes to Silver Gulch, the other one goes to all the track leading up to it. And I just removed those two wires, and my circuit, my short immediately disappeared. I'm like, oh, it's over here. And then that's when I started looking, and well, there it was.
Yeah, and then you're going, duh. Yep. Been there too many times. Let's see, I can't read this. You don't know when
Well, when it says singing, a little piece of solder let me down. I don't get that.
Random screwdriver on track. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I think everybody's been guilty of that one.
Oh, Jack says, keep checking because it's not the cat issue, it's your track lane. Yeah, that's usually the problem is the track lane.
What?
I do have, if anyone is.
Oh,
yeah.
Dennis has got more stuff to show.
Yeah,
Nice.
this is my most recent scratch build.
Looks good. I like the weathering on it.
I like that.
Yeah, and it's not finished yet. It's going to have a sign that goes across the top of here that says Silver Gulch because this is the Silver Gulch station. And then I'm going to have a little, what do they call them, caboose lights, you know, that turns left or right. I think that's what I'm going to do. And then to go complementary with it will be this structure, which I hope to kind of get this one finished this weekend. I don't know yet. We'll see how it goes. But this is what will be a restaurant, a trackside restaurant.
Nice.
Now, I
That'll be interesting building.
didn't film any of this stuff because I worked on it while I was working on these buildings. Because this took about 3 weeks to do, and in the time frame that I was building them, you know, there was some issues with supplies and things like that, but you can see how they go together. And I had to wait on some materials, so while I was waiting on materials is when I started on those two builds. So, but I'm pretty happy how this one turned out.
Yeah, that looks great.
Yeah, that's wood laser cut wood, right?
It's all wood. The only thing that's not wood on this are the chimneys in the top. Those are actually sprue material and a little bit of plastic that I kind of scratched up to make it look like something that belongs on a roof. Because I really don't know what would be on top of a roof in 1930. I haven't really, other than a brick chimney and maybe some sewer vents. I don't know if they'd even have sewer vents, depending on where you're at and that kind of thing.
Rob says that you could start your own line of models called wood shop models. They're all made from a block of wood.
Yeah. And they're great.
Yeah, but they'd be a little heavy to ship.
They would. Those things right there together are probably a pound.
Yeah. Yeah, if they're solid wood, they're going to be heavy, especially if you get to very many. There's time we got here. Okay.
Well,
I've got something I want to show everybody before we get off, but
you can call them 2x4 structures.
2x4 structures. Yep.
Yeah.
Jack wants to know what town you're working on now.
The prototype is based on Black Hawk, Colorado. My town is going to be called Silver Gulch, and the trackage, you know, that existed in Black Hawk was the Colorado and Southern. I'm not doing Colorado and Southern. Mine's Proto Lance, so the trackage did not go through the town the way it's going through my town. So big differences, but a lot of preciseness as well, I would say. There's certain elements of the town that I'm trying to recreate fairly accurately. I'm just not doing any of the railroad features of the town accurately, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, you know, if you're doing that, the Proto Lance, I'm kind of doing the same thing. And John's doing, he said he's doing that. you know, if you find a picture of something like you did with Blackhawk and say, oh, I want that on my layout. You know, it doesn't matter if it would have really been there or not on your, you know, on your part of the railroad that you're building, but if you like it, put it in there.
Yeah.
You know,
I would say that major fans of the Colorado and Southern will probably be able to look at it and go, oh, hey, that's Blackhawk. Why is the track running parallel with Blackhawk Street instead of perpendicular? But anyone else that sees it, you know, greater than 90% of anybody that will take a look at the town once it's finished will not recognize it as Blackhawk, Colorado.
well, unless they've seen the old pictures.
Right, and I would say that only fans of the Colorado and Southern would be those individuals.
Yeah, because I know up in Colorado with the extreme weather swings they get, especially with the wintertime, the wooden structures just don't last. You know, unless they keep them up. But you know, there's a lot of them that don't last. You go to places like St. Elmo. The ones that are standing there are ones that people have actually been living in for many, many years and kept them up. And then the ones across the street are just a pile of wood because nobody kept it up and they collapsed.
Yeah.
So that happens in some place like Blackhawk, and then they build a brick building next to it, and you know, and a more modern building next to that. You know, unless they keep it historical. Now I think Blackhawk, and I haven't been there, you know, 30 years.
There's still several historical buildings there.
Yeah, I know it's probably a historical landmark area, so they probably try to keep all that now.
At least all of the brick buildings, for the most part, are, you know, like these two buildings, they still exist.
Yeah.
The two brick buildings, they're still there. That's how I came up with the dimensions for that building, is with Google Earth.
Okay, let's see. Oh, Jack said Blackhawk wasn't a major town, was it? I don't know that it was. Well, it was an important.
It was the
town
end of
it was
the end of line, end of a what would you call it? Yeah, it was an out and back off of the Colorado and Southern.
Yeah, but it was
so I recall, I can't remember if they had a Y or if they did have a turntable there,
but it was a town. It was a major town for the mines and stuff in the area because they were supplying from Blackhawk. So the train would get the stuff to Blackhawk, and then they'd take it on up into the mountains from there. So in that case, it was a major town as far as importance at the time. It wasn't ever very big. It's probably bigger now than it ever was, but now that they've got gambling there. So, because that's one of the few places Colorado's got gambling is Blackhawk. Yeah. Cripple Creek's another one, and Cripple Creek was the same thing. It was a mining town, and now it's a casino town. So they've been able to keep that. And there's a lot of old buildings in Cripple Creek too. Yeah. Cripple Creek would be a really nice place to model for the buildings and stuff. Oh, what did he say here?
Well, hey, Claude, what are you doing on your layout? You're back to laying track.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I've built a few turnouts. Right now I've got the cork I'm using came in a roll, 2 foot by 4 foot roll, and I've got 3 of those that got laid out flat with weight on them, trying to get them fairly flat before I adhere them to the wood. But I've got the plywood cut out and it's ready to go, and I've got a pretty good idea how my track's going to go. I've got a good start on my Y that's going to be in the town. And so I've got that put together pretty much so that when I move it around on the table, those 2 Ys stay together, and it kind of works as one piece. Mm-hmm. But it's going to work out pretty well. I think look pretty much like I want. I do have, I've got a cold trestle that I'm building now. Older style, not a coal tower like I have on the lower level, but a different one. That's a fine, can't remember the name of the kit.
And you're fine scale miniatures.
Yeah. And so I was putting in, every time I think I've worked with really small stuff, then I get to the W and B, nuts and washers,
bolt washers,
and they're all white cast metal. And I had to break out the magnifying glass to put those on. And of course, I'm using real sharp tweezers and picking them up. And yeah, I had a few of them go boing. Yeah. And you get those out from where you cut them off the sprue, and you're going to be lost. But yeah, they look good once you get them on there, but man, they're a pain. The plastic ones are much easier.
That's one thing I have yet to do yet. I have not applied any nut bolt washers to any model I've done. I don't think I've actually done a model that has required them or been part of the kit yet.
Yeah,
I know I probably will for my coaling trestle that
I've only done them when, in the plastic, and the newer kits, they're all plastic.
Yeah.
And so you drill a little hole, and you cut them. They're long enough in the back, you cut them off and stick them in the hole, so they go in pretty easy. And you can grab them with the tweezers a little better. But boy, those white metal ones, there's nothing on the back of them. By the time you cut them off the sprue, they're flat on the back, and you're just gluing them right onto the wood, and it's like, oh. And then of course you're using CA to try and glue it up there, and it wants to stick to the tweezers. It wants to stick to everything but where you want it to go, of course. And Mark's asking me, where did I get the 2 by 4 foot roll? I got it at Michael's, which is similar to Hobby Lobby. They're not quite as extensive on some of their stuff, but it's a craft store. Very similar to what Hobby Lobby is. And I don't know how extensive they are around the country. They're very extensive here.
We have.
Say again?
We have one here in Medford.
Do you? Okay. Well, if you got one in Medford, they're probably all across the country. But yeah, Michael's craft store is where I got it. And I happened to find it, and it wasn't all that expensive. I bought 2 rolls the other day, and it was like $35 for the 2 rolls. So 4 foot by 4 foot area for $35. And that's about what the other cork that I used earlier that I bought from Home Depot. And I had to wait for it to be shipped and all that mess. So I didn't go that way. I didn't need as much. So I found this at Michael's and bought it. And I think it's going to work. Oh, Mark says they've even got one in Casper. So yeah, that's where I got it, Mark. So if they don't have it in stock, you can have them order it, or order it online and pick it up at the store or something like that.
I get mine off of eBay. I can't recall who, but I look for the cheapest 2 foot by 4 foot or 2 foot by 8 foot roll I can get.
Yeah. Well, I just bought just enough to do the town that I'm doing.
Yeah.
And it's going to be smaller than a 4x8 sheet of plywood. So, I think I've got enough for what I'm going to do. And anyway, before we get going, we got like 7 minutes left. Art's daughter sent me an email. Let me get that pulled up here. Let's see here. Oh, I thought that was it. Oh, it's not. Well, heck. I don't know where she sent it. My mistake. She sent me some info on the celebration of life that we're going to have for Art. And of course, I know most people can't get to it, but they had, instead of flowers and stuff like that, they wanted people to send donations to a place. And I thought it was on the Gmail email, but it's not. And I don't know if, I don't remember where she sent it now. I apologize. I'll have to find that and get it.
Was it in a text message or?
No, I don't think so, because I already checked that. I think it was an email, but I'll have to look it up. I'm trying to check now. Yeah, she just told me she was going to give me the details if they worked it out, and she sent them, and I don't remember where I saw it now, where she sent it. I apologize. Let me look here real quick.
Roy posted something up.
Did he?
Arthur Thompson will have Celebration of Life October 25th at Cowboy Cafe Murano from 4 to 7. Light snacks, beer, wine will be available. This is a restaurant in Altamonte Springs. Please help spread the word.
Okay. Well, that's not what she sent me. She was sending me places to donate to. There was some, I don't remember what they were now, but they were, like the Cancer Society or something like that. So I wanted to put that information up, and I apologize again for not having it here. I thought it was in that email, and it wasn't. That was a different one. So I'll have to find it and get it up here next week. So keep that in mind if you want to, send something in memory of Art, besides doing the train videos. And all the train videos have been great. Really have enjoyed those, yeah. Because Art was a really good guy. And like Dennis, like you put up on yours, Dennis, what he had posted on yours. I went back on some of mine and looked. And it was the same way. He was very encouraging to everybody that was in the hobby and just a fantastic guy. So anyway, I'm sorry I don't have that, but I will get that next week, or hopefully I will get that next week if I didn't delete it somehow. Jack's asking me what era. I'm sorry, Jack. I don't know what you're referring to.
What era are you modeling?
Oh, my particular. Mine's going to be late 40s, very early 50s. I like the very early diesels, early F units, some of those that were before that. But all the narrow gauge is going to be, well, not all of it, but most of it is going to be steam. So I like that too. I do have some galloping geese I'm going to put on it. I've got those and that sort of thing. So still working on the backstory, but I'll have one at some point. I'll have one detailed out, because that's always kind of fun to know why you've got that, what you've got, other than just to watch them run around.
Yeah.
Well, glad JD was on. It gave me a reason to get up. Time for breakfast now.
Oh, what's
Steve? Because you don't want to miss breakfast. We don't want you to waste away.
Yeah.
Favorite loco.
Rob wants to know what JD's favorite locomotive is.
Favorite loco, steam. I'm partial to the Shays, and diesel. I like the SD40-2s, but I do have quite a few of the later models, like the AC 4400s and some of the newer stuff. I like the SD40-2s and my Shays. Those are my favorite.
Monroe's talking about how cold it is.
35. Wow. Gee, the frost ought to be just about ready to come off, huh?
Yeah. There you go. Well, we got about a minute left. Anybody want to ask any final questions before we go?
Well, Joe Rader says you got to get back to work, Joe.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
Oh, yeah. We'll have to have you back on when you get stuff running again.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Anderson wants to know, are you getting any of the new Shays that have been released?
New Shays from what? BLI?
Probably. I don't know of any that have been.
But I hadn't seen that they've been released yet.
BLI is coming out with some Shays?
Yes.
Really?
Huh.
Probably all standard gauge, of course.
I'm not quite sure. I'd seen a video, but I don't remember. And they were in mock-up at that point, so I didn't know.
I've got a roundhouse kit, a 2-truck Shay that I'm wanting to do, and I've got all the updated gears for it and everything. But that's going to be after the railroad is
Rayron
up and running full scale.
4-truck Shays, so they're big Shays. 4-truck ones, so.
Oh, wow, yeah.
next year.
Yeah. I've got one that's going to run. I think it's going to run in the mining district. That's where mine will run.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, well, guys, that's our show this week. Thanks for showing up, and JD, thank you for being here.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah, we'll have to have you on again.
Yep.
Like I say, when you get a little bit more done, we'll
Yeah.
have you on. You can show us. And Steve and Dennis, thanks for being here. Steve,
Yep.
go have some chicken soup and put some dicks on your chest or something, man.
Oh man. Yeah, that's side of hauling these little heathens in the bus. They get you.
Yeah, that's why I don't drive the bus with little kids in it. Yeah. All they do is get you sick.
Yeah, I had to quarantine away from the youngest grandson. He came home with strep the other day. So
Yep. I caught it from one of mine, and they're older even. And I hadn't had strep in years, and I caught it from them. So anyway, next week John Tanzillo will be here, so you want to be back to see that. And John's been working on a lot of stuff. So
yeah, he has.
Yes, he has.
yeah. So anyway, we'll be here to talk to John next week. And John, thanks again.
You bet.
Everybody have a good week.
See you guys later.
A good week. And we'll see you next week.
All right. All right.